Let's get a glove on. Alrighty guys, we're going to be getting started here in a second or two. Trying to get this glove on. My hand's a little sweaty. I was yelling at people on the phone at Amazon before I got on here, so I'm a little razzed. But they once again fixed the problem. But boy, oh boy, was that an hour-long phone call of just anxiety. We'll be getting started here in just a second, though. Oh, let me grab my little holder. There we are. Hi. It's been a minute. Come on, man. What's the deal? Oh. Alright. This class is going to be pretty interesting, just because obviously the edge work on this is not as crisp on some areas, more crisp on others, so it should be pretty interesting. What I'm doing right now is we're just waiting for the other people that are a part of the Plus program to sort of roll into the video, and we'll get the actual class started. For those of you joining or watching later at a non-live time period, so today we are showing off, essentially, I'm just sending this video out for free. This is a part of the Patreon, or not the Patreon, sorry, I'm so used to calling it that. The Scholar Plus program. So every single month, everyone votes on a miniature that we're going to paint along together. Sorry, I'm getting new parchment paper because I need to cut new sheets. But so this month, we voted on an Infinity miniature because we hadn't painted, we've sort of painted one sci-fi, but we hadn't done any just straight up Infinity guys before, so we're going to do that today. What you're noticing that you guys don't ever see as a part of the regular streams, in the top left-hand corner is the color palette that we're going to be working on today. It's set up in the same way that the periodic table of painting is set up, meaning that essentially I'm able to reference the numbered colors as we're working, and so the people that are at home painting along are then able to have a more accurate reference for the color palette. And then the people that pay for the premium content, so the palette tier online, they actually get the special primer-coated palette in the mail. So they have a physical version of the different palettes that we use in the class, and then that way they can put their paint directly on the palette and have a one-to-one true test of the colors rather than just trying to compare on the screen, because then too, right, sometimes on my palette the colors don't show up necessarily correctly or on camera in general, so that way you know for a fact you are getting as accurate as you can. So hopefully that answers some questions that people may be having in terms of what the stream is today. Every single last Saturday of the month at 1 p.m. is when we always do the Plus paint along, and then on the 15th of every month is whenever we do the regular Scholar class as well. So earlier this month the Scholar class was Edgework, so that is the theme that we're going to be working on with this miniature in general, and I think we will probably do non-metallic metal on it, and just do some cool basic some brushwork on top of that. So if you are watching and you are one of the Patreon or the old Patreon Plus people, comment in the chat so I know that you are here, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the painting class. So But again, these classes are always going to be available and available afterwards as well, right? Video on demand permanently on minipainting.studio. Go check it out. Click on the scholar content area and you'll be able to see all the information and different levels that are available. There's also information on there about private lessons as well. If you want to do a private 2-hour class or a private 4-hour class, those bookings are now live and available as well. And then obviously too, I'm running 20% off commission. So if you are trying to hit me up, I know some people hit me up, but then they are deciding whether they want to or not. So that's going to be done on Monday. So definitely get on that. So, but we'll probably get started here. Shout out to anybody watching on Twitch. Shout out to anybody watching on YouTube. Remember, you can watch these videos in higher definition always. Yeah, special live stream, a paid live stream brought to you by Anxiety. So, probably gonna start off with one of these brushes, yes. Man, you would not believe the fight that I went through with Amazon this morning, man. My God. It was crazy. Talking to supervisors. But that's how we play when it comes to Amazon. So today we're working on a Nomad miniature. It is a Prowler, obviously a very, very cool, sort of streamlined, futuristic mini. Should be pretty fun. So I have no idea how I want to paint this guy. Obviously we have the color palette in the top left-hand corner. So the first color that I want to approach, let's do the metals. And I want to do the metals in that sort of greenish gray that you're seeing. So column 5, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, those are going to be the colors that we're using for our metals. So that means I'm going to be using it sort of on the guts of the gun strapped to its hip, and then we'll pick some other features possibly throughout other portions of its body to also use that color. We're going to be using all the colors though on the palette that you're seeing in the top left. So I am going to go ahead, I believe I have a color that's already pretty much number 25, so I'm going to double check, even though I think it's actually closer to a 20. So let's look right here. So it's pretty close to 20. I would say it's a little bit warmer than I need it to be, but I can add some black to get it pretty accurate. So that's the base color that I'm gonna go for. But for those of you working along at home, obviously go for 25 and then just mix whatever you have that is more appropriate. But I'll go ahead and get it rocking out on the palette here. So I'm gonna put this color off to the right, just in a blobule of its own, so that way I always have that sort of pure color to pull from. And then, of course, I pick a fold, like a true idiot, but I just need that little bit darker color, and that's probably obviously going to be way too dark. Really, really good job on that. All right, so we're just gonna take over this entire thing. Okay. So I'm gonna test our color here to verify the palette. It's actually kind of funny, you can't even see the color on the black glove. But we'll let that dry and see how it looks. I may just also need to shake this up a lot more. Remember, if you have any questions or anything like that, please drop them in the chat. Today we're working on a miniature that was voted on by everybody that's a part of the Scholar Plus program. So there are people that are painting along live at home currently. At least that's the plan. Most of them do the paint along, but obviously have a schedule, so they end up just re-watching the stream later. Alright, so I don't think that had enough green, and I think this is going to be too bright. So we'll go ahead and see. Get it thin as well. But I'm thinking that's not close enough to 25, so I'm going to introduce more black. And now I think I've got a 25 there. So this is supposed to be 25. There we go. So when that dries, it should be very, very close. So we'll just kind of hang out for a second and see. Mostly only because if this isn't dark enough, the sort of edge work and contrast that we're going to end up applying isn't going to work correctly. So you want to make sure you're sort of cognizant of that. Yep, that works. All right, so first things first, we're zooming in. Let's see. So what I'm going to do are the guts of the gun, so pretty much all of the metal areas of the weapon. Oh, feel free to share this out, please do, to any group that it would make sense. I actually couldn't figure out if there was an official Infinity group on Facebook or not. I was trying to look at the last second, and it made no sense, so I just gave up. Big congrats to Drew Carrington of 1 Inch Heroes. He actually won the Vermintide 2 yesterday. I'll be doing another video game giveaway this month as well, so if you were really bent on winning something, don't worry. We've got more stuff along the way. So this dark green really is just to base whatever colors we want to use. Let's go ahead and do the kneecaps. So the, So the kneecaps that he's got on there, the pads, little guards. So we're gonna do that, the dark green. This handgun, the pistol, just the back end of it. And I think that's really all I want to do. Let's do this back part. This little backpack thing it's got wearing. You can tell I've only had 1 cup of coffee. My speaking skills always are declined. You don't really have to worry about being neat in this step either. It's such a dark color that even if we weren't going to clean it up perfectly and we moved on to something else, it's not going to really interfere, so. Okay. Good enough for me. So now we're just going to add in some white, most likely. You can probably use whatever you want. I'm going to be using a actual, like, almost white green. My new obsession is finding colors of every single hue but white. So, like, an almost white purple, an almost white blue, and then that's what I've been using for sketching on miniatures recently. And it has worked out terrifically. So, taking that color that we had, that was 20 essentially, I'm going to add a little bit of white and mix it back up. There we go, that looks good. Even though this is closer to probably 15, I'm going to darken it a little bit. There we go. Okay. What's funny is the guy I was talking to with Amazon, I was like, yo, you ship me these brushes and no packaging, moron, like, help me out. Now this guy was nice, he wasn't a moron at all. Actually, it was the people I had to speak to before. And he's like, oh, I'm an artist myself, so I totally understand why you can't ship Sable without protection. And I'm like, who are you? Who are you, buddy? We're kindred spirits, you know what I'm talking about. But it was nice because he actually, like, believed what I was saying rather than the person before that was like, we have no way to confirm that we didn't ship it in packaging. I'm like, I'll take a picture. What are you talking about? But needless to say, I got a full refund and they're shipping me an entire new set for free, so it worked out. Most people don't get the same love from Amazon, but I also feel like most people don't literally just, like, expect for them to fix the problem. Like, when I call Amazon, I literally am like, here's what you're doing for me today. That's the attitude that I take. I did find out that the people that work in customer service also have no idea about the influencer program. Because I was like, I just have a general question as well, like, does my account say anything about the fact that I'm an influencer and, like, I'm selling these products to people? Because that's why I want you to, like, actually ship them in the packaging, because I'm telling people to buy them. And he was like, no, we have actually no access to any of those people. And I'm like, well, there's your problem, because I get pissed off that you guys are like, nah, we don't really care. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to sell, like, I'm convincing people to buy these brushes, so maybe you should care. But they also, sorry guys, they are pulling these off of Amazon. So if you were trying to buy a DaVinci Maestro brush over the next few days, you're not going to be able to, because they're going to have to do an audit specifically to see if they were given these brushes without any kind of protection, so like any packaging. Some they ship with packaging, some they don't, so I'm assuming it's probably just a big mess, and like all the brushes were taken out by employees thinking they didn't need it. So all I'm doing right now is slowly tapering in that green. Let me pull this much closer. There we go. Unfortunately, it just sort of looks like a highlight at this point, like a wet area, because of the black, but I'm just slowly trying to place it in between these areas. The sort of cover that goes across the top, so like this part right here, if you look at my brush, so like the scope area, and then this part that sort of juts across, that's going to be painted like the armor color, so that's not going to be metal. The color we're applying right now, while it is important in the sense that you do want to get it on the miniature, again, since we're working in such fine detailed areas, you know, the coverage doesn't really matter. Like, as long as you're getting it on there, it will show up once we get to the edge portion. But until then, you're really just trying your best to fill it into these areas. Also, hello to all of the new people here on the Facebook page as well. We had over 150 new people like the page last week, so big hello to you guys. Again, today, for those joining late, we are doing a free preview of the Scholar Plus program. Remember, you can see all of the class information and what is available at different tiers at minipainting.studio. If you're interested in a private lesson and you have questions, you can submit your question through the Say Hello button, or you can just email me, josh@minipainting.studio is my email. If you have a more direct comment or question or topic you would like to learn about but you're not sure. And those classes are available 2-hour, 4-hour increments. However, if you want, like, obviously I'm flexible, so you guys can ask if you have a better idea and you're interested in a class. Now, down here at the hand, I did totally derp it up with super glue, so you can see I'm literally missing detail right there, but we're just going to paint that into oblivion, like shadow, and we're going to pretend that I didn't do that, because you know what? We're just having a good time today. We're not painting for anyone but ourselves, so a little super glue never hurt anybody. Going back in on our top portion here. For those of you that used to be patrons, make sure you are going and signing up on the new system on minipainting.studio. Otherwise, you will be purged completely from the secret Facebook group. So definitely get on that if you can, please, and thank you very much. You can see now, though, this is looking a little bit more like metal. It's a grayed out green. I think it's going to end up looking really cool once we sort of layer it in there further. Bounce it out so you can kind of get a better effect. There you go. You can see it slowly starting to turn into a metallic. It's real nice. What's real nice? The new website, Brian? Or what? What are we talking about? The new website's really cool because it's literally so simple. And then all you have to do when you go there is you just click on the page, you click the button. If you're a scholar, you click scholar, you know, whatever, and then you log in. Boom, there's all your new stuff. So I love the new system. Unfortunately, it does cost me, like, I think, God, I don't remember. I really should look. I think it may be like 20 bucks a month, 25 a month, so Unfortunately, I do need people to sign up so I can actually pay for it, but it's much, much, much better in the long run. With a lot of the stuff that I do, unfortunately, it costs money, but it's like, you know, it's takes money to make money, cost of doing business, whatever you want to call it, but sometimes it does benefit you to just buy buy what you should, don't just use free services. That's what we were trying to do, and it was already confusing people, so decided to pull the trigger. Yeah, you may not think about making metals a green, right? But it definitely is a very plausible color. Trying to get the very edge here. Not that it matters though, because that's going to get painted over again. All right, do the kneecaps. I was neglecting the knees. Remember, the kneecap is split down the middle, so I'm trying to accentuate that by going straight down. So you'll see what I'm talking about here. I'm going to go straight down on one side and then only sort of eclipse the top on the other. And that will give us more contrast to work with. So I'm going to go straight down the middle like this. Whoop, let me actually get, there we go. So straight down the middle on one side. Let's do the right-hand side. And then I'm only going to touch the top left there. And that's sort of how we're going to build that contrast. So we are on, really we're like on number 15, honestly, depending on what color you're using. We're going to move towards 10 next. 10 is going to be our first edge highlight color, with 9 being the final edge highlight color, unless we decide to add white later. So I'm going to be adding much more of that bright, bright, bright color. Actually, I lied. Really, I'm applying like a 15, but this is essentially, you know, our first edge highlight color. So you're wanting to make sure that your brush is nice and wet and flexible. That way you're going to be able to use it more like a pen or a pencil, which is exactly what you want in these scenarios. You don't want it flooded with water. You want it just wet. So if you look at my brush right now on the screen, it's completely wet, right? But it's not flooded with water because I can touch it and nothing happens. So that's why I'm always, you'll hear me talk whenever I'm painting, and I'm like, my brush is drying out, because I can tell that it's not bending the way that it should. So I always just get it wet, and then I just wipe, wipe, wipe until it's not loaded with water, but it's still really flexible. And then I'll grab a little bit of paint on the edge, and that's exactly what I do to start doing edge work. So now then, with our edges, I'm going to go after this little bar here. I'm only going to touch the left and right side of it, so that way we start building a little bit more contrast into it like that. Do the edge around the trigger there. Just compartmentalizing out all these little sections through highlighting. So this one we're going to highlight much further towards the middle because it's a much longer piece. But then what that's also going to allow us to do is also do the metallic section right above it, but just really, really carefully. Pretty much one brush stroke like so. And then the one right beneath it. You're obviously going to need a small brush for those sections. And I'm going to go back and do the other side of it as well. So back here towards the middle. Now you may not be able to get in and do that if these very, very fine highlights are too much of an issue. Remember, one thing you can always go and do really, really simply is just paint it the brighter color and do a wash on top, and then just do those sort of, you know, superficial highlights at the very end. You won't get as smooth of a color transition between them, right? Because we'll be using a wash, but you'll be able to pinpoint those details a lot easier. That's always something you can do. This side, since it's in the shadow, I don't really care, but I am going to hit the top portion of that bar. That's pretty much it on that. All right, so the backpack now. So for those of you just now joining, or that watched, or sorry, that joined late, I honestly need so much coffee right now, it's insane. So today we're doing a free preview of one of the Scholar Plus videos. Really, it's not even, I mean, I guess it is a preview, but it's the whole video. But every month they vote on a miniature to purchase. This month we're going to do our typical vote, but there was an awesome Infinity sale. And we had been talking about painting up something from Infinity for a while, so it just sort of worked out. But typically we're able to vote on them. And then the paint-along corresponds to whatever the regular Scholar class content was for that month. So this month was edge work. So obviously we're focusing on edge sort of paint schemes. And making that happen. There we go, I was trying to get the top part of that. Bottom here. I'm wondering if I have room on this edge. I do, actually. Just couldn't see it. To go down the edges like that. Remember, we're painting with a green. Washing out my brush. Now there are some sections in the back here I'm going to try and hit. You guys can try and do it if you'd like. I'm not impressed either way because this is difficult for me. But it's these back sort of tiny panels. super tiny. There's like a little hair that floated its way in. Okay. All right, we'll get the kneecap. All right, I'm happy. It looks like a nice sort of cool steel. Try and refine it here on the top. I can't tell if what I'm looking... Oh, okay, here we go. That's what I was confused about. Sorry, I just need to get it at a weird angle. I don't know if I'm happy with that, but I think we're gonna be stuck with it. It's correct, it's just kind of wonky. Because there's that little dot right there that's sculpted out, so I sort of want to get the reflection in that. There we go. Boom! And then the barrel right here. Like so. Like so. Cool, cool, cool. Cool. We're almost there. Now we're going to be applying a number 5. Let me hop over and check Instagram, or sorry, not Instagram, Twitch and YouTube. Cool. Hello to the YouTube viewership. How are we doing on stream health today? Fine? Okay, cool. Cool. So, yeah, now we're going towards that number 5, the final edgework color for this sort of steel metal that we're putting on this duder. So for anybody painting at home, I'm going to wait a second so you can potentially catch up. Potentially. Do you want to see how Amazon shipped one of my brushes? Look at that. So what's funny is this is the only brush they sent me that was in packaging. The rest they just sort of threw in a box. So for them that means they're replacing everything and I'm getting it all for free. But yeah, look at that. What a shame. Now, I mean, technically I might be able to use it because, let's look at it. The tip is obviously totally protected, so that's a good thing, I guess. But, so the tip is fine, but just this right here is crazy. I could wrap it with like tape maybe, or I could just break it off, I don't know. Oh, wow, they actually sent, I didn't even realize until right now they sent me the wrong one. They sent me the wrong one. This is crazy because that's a triple and I ordered a double. I didn't even realize that. They gave me the wrong one. So okay, well. Shout out to Amazon. They don't know what's going on out there in life. All right, so now I've given you enough time. I'm going to be going through with what is pretty much going to be 5 on the palette there. Do you let me know how the audio and everything is coming through today? If anything sounds weird at all, let me know and I'll correct it for you. We're obviously going for a pretty stark contrast on this paint job as well, with the darkest color being actual black. Normally we don't do that, but this time around figured to be okay. My brush is drying out because it's not bending predictably for me. I don't want to have to hit these little bits in the back, but I guess I will. Barely, though. Pretty basic stuff, just going through. Even though I have a soft edge on top of this, I am gonna make sure still that I'm getting something crisp. So whether that's an implied highlight or not, it's just whatever I can get in. Honestly, with the kneecaps, I'm only gonna brighten the one that's on the right, so it's left knee. I'm only gonna do the top part. I feel like compositionally it would make sense, since he's moving with that knee forward, that it would have a little bit more light. On the back end, hope everybody out there is having a good day so far. It is Saturday. I was about to say the sun is shining, but it's definitely not. It is cloudy here today. All right, cool. All right, so that is it for that set of color. I am happy with that. So now what I'm thinking, honestly, I'm thinking about doing the teal on the gun. Or, sorry, not teal, more like aqua. Maybe. It has a little bit more green in it. Jade, maybe. But whatever, column 4 is where I'm headed to next. But I am going to have to actually mix this color because I don't really have a good color that makes much sense with that. So hopefully I can get it right. I'm mixing a teal with a darker green, so let's see. Hey, pretty good. I need it to be a little bit darker. for the darkest color. All right, here we go. We're gonna rock out with that. Don't need this really in any kind of giant proportion. We're just using it on the gun. We might put it somewhere else, but... Okay. All across these sections here. It's where you're gonna want that sort of first base layer. And you want decent coverage. This is just the first coat, so obviously we're gonna keep pushing that contrast way crazy. So do try and get a good coat. It's not the most important sort of version of this color, but it does need to be on the parts you're painting. Here we go. So you guys can see how we're coloring it. I really just want it to be able to pop. Obviously right now we're going with like the dullest version of the color. Oh, let's tie it into the backpack as well. We'll do the bottom half of the backpack. Alright, so we're gonna flip this over. Get our base coat gently on there. Make sure you hit that line across, since that's definitely a point of brighter reflection. I guess we'll hit this top part here on the gun. I mean, I don't know what to call this, the downside, maybe? I don't know what the term is. The only things I know about guns for real are the ones that I've shot. That's pretty much it, terminology-wise. But, so, whatever that little protrusion is, we're gonna paint this green as well. But that's okay, I like that for our base color. So I'm gonna move to the back here, the back backpack, the back backpack. Wow. So, what's gonna be cool too is this is gonna create a totally different level of contrast, making the metallic seem a lot brighter. So we're gonna wanna push up on the top edge here, these little sections. Like so. Yep. Nothing crazy though, just a little bit. So now I'm going to move towards more of like a number 14-ish. It's still a little bit too bright. There we go. So with this now, I'm going to start being careful about where I'm placing it, only because this is going to be very, very small areas to do your transition work. So you got to be smart. You got to play it smart. Can't go crazy. Paying attention to which edge I let it hit, so the interior edge. Bye. How's it going, Zombie Stew? I don't know who you are, but I'm good to see you. Whoever hopped over to Twitch to watch. Slowly grabbing those edges. Alright, I love it. Actually, that's a great color. Okay. Hopping on over. This side doesn't need as much work, obviously, because we're forcing the shadow. Only that much. And then the bottom part of the backpack as well. Highlight that up. But only a little bit, we don't need a lot, since it is in shadow. Pretty much right in the middle on that top point. And I'll highlight it down a little bit. Taper, 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 taper. There you go. And then each on the left and right. Nothing too crazy. Just like that. Just like that. I'm gonna do a little bit more just to get it brighter. There we go. That's fine. It doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to exist. Hey, there we go. Ah, watching on the TV. Actually, let me know how that looks. That might look pretty cool. Thanks, though. One thing I've never done is watch a stream, one of my streams back on TV. It'll probably freak me out because it'll like look so different on like the TV setting. All right, so now I am going towards really like a number 4 or number 9. Sorry, this is more like number 9. So this is like the bread and butter of this color. I am going to be doing edges with this, so you want to really be careful with what you're doing. I'm going to start from the top, move my way down. Okay, there's that. There we go. Then the bottom side, fading it out, just like that. That's as far as that's gonna go. So for those of you just now watching or joining, today we are doing a paint along of this Infinity Nomad miniature. I think it's called a Prowler. I know it has a Spitfire SMG. It looks really cool. Okay, so wait, you said the sound seems muted compared to Facebook? That's interesting. There shouldn't be a difference, so to speak. Wait, you said the sound? Huh, yeah, it does sound a little bit quieter. That's interesting. Huh. Must be like the way that they compress the video. My brush is too dry to let me do that, sadly. There we go. Just needed to actually wet my brush. Look at that, looking pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. Again, really minor highlights on that edge because I just want it to be dark. We're not trying to make it look crazy. Okay, yeah. Brush is starting to dry out a little bit on the tip, which is dangerous because I just put too much paint on the tip, so I need to be really careful with what I'm doing. I should really chill out with anything else, though. There we go. Wiped off the excess. All right. So now we're ready for the brightest, so I'm going to be painting something that looks like number 4. Very, very pastel. Not really almost white, but by comparison with the contrast, it'll pretty much look super white. And I'm only going to be focusing on edges on the top, or towards the top, so. None of the under edges are getting any of the love. Pretty much anything that can be hit starting from the top of the gun is getting that white edge highlight. Looking good, looking good. We'll do this side right here as well. Little pips of highlight. Okay, We'll pretend that we're looking at him on the table. Oh yeah, that looks so good. Very cool colors so far. Got 3 left. Let's plan out where to put them wisely, shall we? I still don't know if I'm happy with that part of the gun. I feel like we need to highlight maybe it like up. Hold on. I'm gonna do this. You guys don't need to do this because it could ruin it. So hold on a second, but. Did that help? Oh, yeah. Of course it did. Yeah, alright, so I'm gonna push that highlight a little bit to the left. And there was just like too much open space, pretty much. It didn't make sense visually, but that makes sense now. For sure. There we go. Yeah, way better. Cool. Cool. Okay. That's all. I'm going to mess with that. I'm going to redo that edge at the very top because I didn't like the width of it. Well, that's unfortunate. It's not a super straight line. You can't really tell. I can tell, though, from where it is, but it's alright. Okay. There we go. Got the gun. Alright, so an hour in, I'm going to take a quick little break, stand up, stretch, and then we'll come back and we'll be able to knock out all of that armor super easy. Mostly because it's all going to be so much easier to paint. But, so I'm going to take a quick little 5-minute break, and we will be back for more of this sweet action. So, yeah, I will return. I just have to actually find the please help me, I need a break button. What does this button do? A whole screen. Not what I wanted. Let's see. Where's the, where's the machine switcher? Where's machine switcher? Yeah, we'll do this. We'll do this. I know how to play this game. Bum bum bum. Desktop. Mini painting studio. I really need to fix my setup. Boom, there we go. All right, guys, I will be right back in 5 minutos. Okay, we are back. Sorry, I had a phone call from my dad, so I answered that really quick. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Hey, all right, cool. Okay. Sweet. All right. Excuse me, I'm gonna lock my foot into place here and make my leg go dead by the time we're done. So here's, ooh, that's what I'm gonna do there. That's what I'm gonna do there. The bright green is probably gonna be the clothing. All right, we got it figured out. So for the armor, we're going with that magenta. So we're gonna go ahead and move up from black to a dark purple. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm actually going to use two different purples for this, plus a little bit of black, but the first one is going to be this sort of cooler toned purple. Second purple is going to be a warm purple that leads to that magenta, but that's the color that we're going to be using for the armor. Is that about right? Nope, needs to be darker. Even darker. There we go. Okay. Let's get it cracking. So for this, I'm just going to be highlighting my way up relatively quickly, and I mean, not crazy attention to detail, but just enough to get all of the goods going. So I guess we'll just do the whole thing. It doesn't matter. Not too concerned with the armor up underneath of sort of the area of view, so to speak. I'll taper some in though. There we go. Backside, there's really like nothing. I guess this is a panel right here, so we'll just sort of throw color on it, but it's going to be in the shadow, so pretty much whatever you put on it right here is all it's going to get. So nothing crazy. You can see how smooth that brush application is, though. Drying instantly, so our paint is in that perfect zone where everything just dries the second you put it on the Mini. I love that. Okay. I'm gonna dot a little bit on the chest. You can't really see anything in there, but I'm gonna put some color in there anyway. Okay, cool, cool. Now then, that to me looks like more clothing than it does armor. So what we'll do is we'll do a band of it towards the bottom. So like the little banding here on the leg. Just trying to pace out the colors because this is gonna be like a crazy color combination. So we're gonna wanna make sure that the outfit makes sense. So we gotta balance our colors here. My brush is too dry. You saw it start to fray out. Don't want that. There we go. Okay, so now we can start moving to the magenta goodies. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm lying to you. As we literally don't touch the helmet at all. How funny is that? Okay, so the name of the game is Smooth Layers. You don't want to show any brush strokes, so make sure your paint and your brush are nice and loose. Don't want to be leaving behind any ugly brush strokes. Perfect. Since it is a split helmet, obviously we have the opportunity to do another color on the other side, but I'm gonna opt not to, but that is a pretty cool idea. Okay. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I'm gonna get that a lot closer, so I'm gonna try and push it closer. The line in between. Only way we're gonna be able to do that is literally one brush stroke down the middle, pushing it closer each time. Okay, got it closer on that side, so we need to just push it closer. Now what I don't like is that little cast problem right there. You can see it. It looks like I went to the middle, but there should be nothing there. So that's just on the mini. What I'll do is I'll just paint it black. That way it doesn't show up. That's just probably flash in between that line. There we go, that line's much smaller now. Okay, and I need to paint that black. Totally cover it up. Of course, my black is no longer alive on the palette, so. Did that work? I think that works. Good enough? Okay. Alright, let's move it on up. So now we're moving towards number 11, which is a much richer, way richer purple, warmer tone. We're moving our way up towards that crazy magenta. step between 6 and 11 really is just a hue change. There we go. Meaning it's not really a value shift, it just sort of is changing the color. You can see these colors playing nicely together as we start pushing the contrast. Down here, that's pretty much as bright as I'm gonna get, is just the bottom. Just the bottom of those right there. That's it. We're not touching it again. Bottom section down here. Give it a little bit of love. Getting the brush wet again so that we can try and taper out the shoulders. Getting it really wet. Pushing the paint up in the direction I want it to dry. See it taper perfectly. The perfect taper. Love it. These colors are interacting so well with the green silver that we painted. It's like increasing the depth of that color too. Really cool. When we jump to that bright magenta, it's gonna look insane. Taper time. Okay. The gun looks sweet. Why are you jealous, man? What we're doing today is a class, so this is part of the Scholar Plus program. So this is our paint along for the month. Everyone had sort of been itching for an Infinity miniature as a part of our painting classes, so I figured this guy would be a good opportunity for edge work. All right, so now we're gonna taper very, very, very gently up on the helmet. Obviously starting from the top here, I'm gonna do 2 big old globs of paint. You can see it right there, really dangerous. And then taper it down. like so. Super easy. So again, everything we're doing with this purpley color currently is really intentional in terms of a subtle shift in hue. I think it'll really help sort of create that like ceramic texture vibe. Almost as if it's translucent, but it's not. Almost as if it's metallic, but it's not. So it'll just be like a very sort of satiny material once we get to the end of it. Okay, so we have that on there. Now we need more sort of that red. So I'm gonna mix in to the same purple we just applied, this pink for more color, but really I just wanna shift it to be more red. So we're gonna mix the two. There we go, I got it. See, I'll show you here. So again, this color is just a color shift. It's not really a brighter color. We didn't increase the amount of white or anything. We're just trying to begin that really cool color shift. So you can see that really cool color shift that we've got going on here. So that was from the last step, if you look at that shoulder pad, and now this step. So again, it's not increasing the amount of white or brightness or anything. We're literally just trying to shift the color so that it looks like it's some kind of very super smooth, maybe synthetic material. Back of the leg here. Okay, gonna taper here carefully again. I'm gonna let that dry because I don't want to push it too far too fast. So I'm just gonna slowly build it up on that shoulder. Okay, so now we're going to focus on the helmet. We do need to be careful. sort of getting the area ready. I have the feeling I'm going to need to move quickly whenever I do it. There we go. Gonna do both sides at the same time. Straight down the middle with this color. Look at that color shift, man. Love it. Looking pretty futuristic to me. Alright, last color is going to be directly a very bright magenta. It's a little bit darker in real life. I'm going for this really, really, really bright sort of magenta pink. And this should give us our final crazy color shift. We can decide later if we want to do edge work on it or not, but currently it's just this awesome material that's obviously a lot different than the metallics we painted because it's not as reflective, but it just has that awesome color characteristic to it. Yeah, it looks sick. It looks sick. I'm actually super excited about this paint job suddenly. Like, something about this color shift that we've got, I'm like, alright, this is gonna turn out really cool. Especially since we have neon green and, like, orange ochre left as the colors on the palette. It's gonna get pretty crazy. Okay, so for the helmet, I'm gonna go directly down the center line on both sides with this brightest color. Make sure to hold your butt and don't sneeze. Okay. Look at that color shift, though. I mean, honestly, it looks like we used blue paint, doesn't it? It looks like that's a blue. It doesn't even look purple. That's crazy to me. It looks sick, though. We've done a really good job. All right, we're doing a good job. Let's keep it up. Just wait till I get a good photo of this, too. That color transition is insane. So, for those of you that are just now joining, remember we're doing a public broadcast of the private monthly classes that we do every single month. You can check out information about the classes at minipainting.studio. Just click the Scholar section through the navigation at the top, and it'll take you to the right place. Or content, Scholar content, I believe, is the actual link at the navigation. So check that out if you are interested. We have moved away from Patreon just because I was using it for billing only. Didn't make sense, so. Whoops, sorry, hit that. Okay, I say we do edges. So I'm gonna add a little bit of white by adding some light pink. This is gonna be super dangerous, but we're gonna be mixing it with that crazy magenta color, and we're literally gonna have to keep it so skinny that the Olsen twins would be jealous. So, wow, that was a big old glob of paint. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, Anne, for wasting your wonderfully mixed paints. Alright, so I'm only adding a little bit of this to this super magenta to make it sort of a super hot bubblegum pink. You can check that right here. Super hot bubblegum pink. And we're gonna ruin the paint job. Here we go. Time to ruin it. So classic. Here we go. Damn it, that little thing in the middle. Okay, hold on. That little piece came back to haunt us. My brush, like, literally gravitated right towards it. You don't have to be crazy, you just have to be insane to get it on there. Okay, cool, cool. I'll paint that middle part black again here in a minute. But now we do need to go around the edges of everything else, so you just have to be careful. Tip of my brush is drying, so I need to chill out a second to let it sort of correct and get nice and bendy again. There we go. So, just really faint. It actually really, like, barely even comes up on camera, but it's just enough to make a difference around the edge. You could go brighter if you wanted, but I really don't want to push it too far. Alright, that wasn't so bad. Now I'll just finish up going down the middle. This is definitely one of the more advanced paint-alongs that we've done so far. But that's kind of the nice thing about the Scholar program, is that everyone does get better over time, so I can kind of alter the course material to reflect that. Because nobody wants to sit around through classes that are easy all the time, right? Gonna do the edges here, but not all the way around, just the top edges. Like so. And this little hand area right here. Okay. I think that looks really cool. Okay, so let's do what next? It's gotta be the green. It's gotta be the green. So we're gonna need a dark green, we're gonna need like a goblin green, and then we're gonna need like pretty much a nice saturated green, so something probably along the lines of like this, just toned down a little bit. So we're gonna be doing all of the underclothing in this same color, so whether or not they really should be different colors doesn't matter. I'm gonna get that black out and correct that line in the middle. Hold on. Forgot I needed to do so. I just didn't have any black paint out. Okay. Well, I got it, and I just need to correct the line. Stressful. Okay, here we go. Oh, I hit it again! God, okay. Now this miniature is pissing me off just because this is a mold problem. Alright, that's as good as it's gonna get. I'm not gonna touch it again because I feel like I'm just gonna keep fighting that line. Alright. So now we can go in with that green. Need to darken it up some. Okay. And this is all going to go pretty quick. And then we're going to do all the other details with that sort of orange ochre, and it should pop against all the other colors we've used so far, and it's going to look awesome. So, pretty much the bags are going to be the ochre. Everything else we're just going to be doing this green. So, liberally apply your dark green all over everything you would like to be dark green. Oops. We have made a mistake. completely ignored that whole part of that arm, so I'm gonna hop over on that in 1 second as soon as I finish this green. Just because this is a mixed dark green, I don't want it to dry on me, so I'm going quickly. But yeah, we totally missed that forearm, so we gotta go back really quick. Why didn't anybody warn me? Well, it's because nobody watches streams at this time of the afternoon. Okay, so using all the colors that we had previously, I'm gonna slam back through as fast as humanly possible. Let's see if I can screw it up. So, let's see, we're gonna go like this a little bit, bada bing, bada boom, because this is visible, there you go. Okay, cool. Obscured mostly by shadow, and then we have this secondary color that came in like this. Got that little color tint, hey, you got some color tint. Okay, now we got this color. Hey, check it out. Oh, that's way too much. Here we go. Okay, we're fixing our life. And do a little edge work right there. Bada bing, bada boom. It's like we never messed up at all. Ha ha. Look at that. All right, cool. Now we can continue with our greens. So now I'm moving on to more of a number 18. This is still a pretty loose color in terms of coverage. I'm just going to start blocking in now more of the highlights. Make sure we get that booty. For the ribbed portions, I'm just gonna fill it in and then wash it at the end. So I'm gonna keep highlighting the ribbed portion up quite a bit, but then we'll just apply a wash in between to give it the definition that it needs. That it wants. Swiggity swooty. You better paint that booty. That's what my camp counselor always said. So, continuing on with our green action here. And the nice thing about this too is all the colors that we're using are complementary, or they're actually triad colors. If you were looking at your periodic table of painting, you'd be able to sort of quickly judge and see that these colors are bouncing off and interacting with each other because of the fact that they are all sort of paired up on the spectrum, the color table. All right, we got that green in there. So now I'm moving to 13, which is more of a green. Now, which one would be better here? I'm thinking straight up this color. All right. So you can see I'm just going through, highlighting up the different sections. Not really spending a ton of time on it, but enough to start breaking through. Make sure we get the ribbing. The ribbing you want to have complete coverage on with these colors, so that way when we wash it, it'll work out a little bit better. Go to the other little section there. Oh, let's do the back of the legs. I'll just go ahead and do all of this part now. Okay, so I'm relatively pleased with where we're headed. Okay, and it looks like we have some of that banding down the front of the boot. Get the neck. All right. Start doing the Laird's work here. Brush is dry. It is not bouncing. There we go. I'm gonna highlight the edges up on the legs a little bit, but not a lot. I'll probably just apply the wash completely to the feet, to the boots. But this is gonna be a darker area anyway, with sort of our forced lighting that we're doing, so not too awfully concerned. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and wash these little portions in here. I'm just gonna use whatever I can find right in front of me, which happens to be light tone. Okay. I like never use light tone. We're just gonna drop that in pretty heavily in all the joints here that have the ribbing we painted. And then just down on the boot. All right, so now let's do our final bumps up. So number 8 is our next highlight color with the green here. I'm running out of room. Here we go. This whole time we painted with a size 0, in case you're wondering. Haven't altered or faltered, baby. slowly making our way through here. All right. One thing I am going to do is touch the ribbing a little bit, but very, very, very carefully. We'll do that here in a second. Alright. But only where it makes the most sense. So, like barely highlighting up these little sections, and then with the final highlight color, it's really just going to be dots to signify the reflection, but really the only other spot to even mess with it is right here on the elbow, right at the top there, like so. Will be enough. All right, cool, cool, cool. And then finally, our last green, so number 3 on that palette. I'm just going to use a super neon. I don't really care what we're doing there in terms of color choice. I'm darkening it a little bit, just mixing in some of that other green. With this color, I'm not necessarily doing edge highlights. It's more like saturation peaks, meaning wherever I want it to appear that we've got a sort of light reflection happening is where I'm going to be placing it. So you're going to really notice it here on the leg, right? It looks like we have sort of a bright line of a reflection. And then we're going to do the same thing on this leg. Now, for whatever reason on that side, the brush was like dumping a bunch of that paint, so I'm just gonna grab the dark green we had and clean this up. Just too much, too intense. There we go. That toned that down a little bit. Okay, cool. I'm happy with that in the front. So the ribbing, very carefully, I'm just going to go in and actually paint some of them. And they're so close together that you pretty much can't. So you know what? I'm going to abandon that. I'm not going to make you guys force yourself to do something that's a high probability of pain and anguish. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's move on to our final color, which is going to be the number 2 column, but I did realize right here I do need to go back in with some color, just right there at the neck, just so that pops. There we go. Okay, get out your favorite ochres. That's all we need to finish it up. So I'm going to be using this orange red as my base. I'm going to darken it a little bit with black paint, but that's going to be my base color. And we're pretty much just going to do all the little accessories and then the top of the helmet, sort of that banding around the bottom part. So, do this real quick. Remember, you don't have to be super accurate with your first go through with these colors, just because this is the base, and we're just going to move our way through. We're not doing anything fancy with it either, so you can just paint the sections as you see them. You don't really have to worry about the lighting currently. You just want to get this color on. There we go. Get out of there. Get out of the background. There we go. gonna do the hands and gloves this color. Nice, easy fingers to paint. Hit the belt. With the belt and stuff, I don't really want to highlight it up much further than where we have it, but you can if you want. Really all it is just showing that we've got, you know, a different material there. That's all I'm sort of focusing on it for, anyway. Little bags on his back. Bags here on the side. I'm just actually going to use the side of the brush for the base coat because I'm not really missing any detail there. I'm just trying to grab it. And heck, let's do the butt of the gun there. All right, moving our way up to more of a number 17. And this is just going to be increasing our edges. That's all. We're just highlighting it up. No big deal. We're on the final stretch here. Hope you guys have enjoyed hanging out today for the paint along. I'm definitely pleased with the result. The color scheme is really cool. Definitely not, I mean, we started this without any plan at all. Oh, wow, that was so insane. I literally wasn't looking when I just applied that paint. That was dangerous, so that means I need to go apply more on this side. Wow, that was so crazy. I literally, like, shoved the brush forward accidentally and it just hit the exact spot I needed. I need to go buy a lottery ticket, I guess. So, while the actual air quote edge work on these finishing touches we're doing really is non-existent, the focus earlier today obviously was trying to render in as much of that edge work as you possibly could on the different sections, like the body armor, the gun. That was a lot more intense than the first class of the month that we did, which was a Reaper, I believe, like Elven Royal Guard or miniature or something close to that sort of name. But it wasn't that difficult, really. We kept it pretty simple. This one, for sure, we pushed a little bit further. Okay, so now I'm going towards like a number 7. Much brighter. It's almost like I don't even need to touch the fingers because those highlight areas are so small that the final color I use will really do all the work for me, but it'll be okay. I'm only going to gently touch some of the leather stuff down here because while it is the same color, it currently doesn't just automatically scream the same color because we really only done a little bit of contrast work on it, so I'm barely going to touch the stuff. I actually think it's fine. Finishing up on the helmet here. And then the final color, you just need some kind of light yellow, anything like that. I'm going to be using Ogre Skin from Reaper. And then I'll get a good photo for you guys. I'll share it to the page, and then I want to see your work as well for those of you that were following along. Remember to check out minipainting.studio in the Scholar section if these classes every month are something you're interested in. Today we were just showing it off for everybody. We moved away from Patreon completely, so now everything is run off of my personal website. Super easy to navigate and use. Using the yellow here on these edges, I'm sure you can see it picking out a little bit more. I like it. I think it works. So that is it for the paint job on this guy, start to finish. I hope you enjoy it. For everyone else that was watching and painting along, I want to see your results as well. Hey Slim, sorry, the only color that's war colors that I was using was this one. Everything else is either Vallejo or Magenta, or Vallejo or Reaper. Magenta, that was funny. But that is it for today. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon, and I will catch you all, I don't know, Monday probably. But yeah, I will see you guys then.